How's it going, fellow Detroit Red Wings fans? Today we are going to talk about the top 15 Red Wings prospects. The 2021 NHL Entry Draft passed a couple weeks ago, and the Red Wings obtained 8 new prospects, so we will see where they fit into the Red Wings prospect rankings. So to start us off at 15, we have from the 2021 NHL Entry Draft, Liam Dower Nielsen. Nielsen stands at 6 feet 176 pounds. He is a Swedish-born player, and he actually grew up in the Wallander organization, like a lot of our draft picks. Last season, Nielsen produced 17 points in 16 games played on Wallander's Junior 20 team, then also added 14 points in 14 games played when he was loaned to Handels IF in the Hockey Eden League, which is Sweden's third best men's level of hockey. Also earned 4 points in 7 games played while captaining Team Sweden to a bronze medal at the World Junior 18 Championships. Nielsen is not going to blow you away with his speed, shot, or physicality, all things he will need to work on as he gets closer to making the NHL. But the thing that makes Nielsen so deadly and a great pickup is because of something you can't teach. Nielsen's hockey IQ is off the charts. He is very much a cerebral assassin and will outsmart most players on the ice. So on to number 14, my favorite prospect from the 2019 NHL Entry Draft, selected in the 3rd round, Albin Grava. Grava stands at 6 feet, weighing in at 176 pounds. He is also a Swedish-born player. He split time between the SHL and the AHL this season, earning 3 goals, 3 assists for 6 points for 39 SHL games played, while averaging less than 10 minutes a night. Then earned 2 assists in 11 games played with the Grand Rapids Griffins. Now, if you do want a deep dive on the T-Rex, we did make a video going into detail about his assets that you can check out. But the best way to put this is that he's like a European Brad Marchand. He is gritty and will get under the opponent's skin while also putting up points. He will be fun to watch when he most likely makes his NHL debut one day. He will either go back to the SHL next season or stay and play in Grand Rapids, depending on where he can get the best development. At number 13, we have Antti Tuomisto, another pickup from the 2019 draft. He is a Finnish-born player who grew up through the ranks in Finland, although instead of moving into the pro leagues, where he definitely could have with 49 points in 48 games played 2 seasons ago, he decided to come across the pond and play with the University of Denver in the NCAA. He did pretty well, earning 11 points in 24 games played last season, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it was good enough to tie for 4th on the team in points and tie for 1st on the team in points for defensemen. Tuomisto is a big defenseman standing at 6'4", 194 pounds. For a big defenseman, he skates like a big defenseman. He'll definitely need to become faster to make it into the NHL, or else players like McDavid will be taking advantage of speed all day. He's likely still a ways out from making the Red Wings, but he will be able to develop with 2021 draft prospects Carter Mazur and Shai Boom, who will be attending the University of Denver with him this year. So at number 12, we have another big defenseman, William Wallander. Drafted in the 2nd round of the 2020 NHL Entry Draft, he stands at 6'4", 190 pounds. He is a Swedish-born player, and like most, grew through the rankings in Sweden, but has yet to step into the SHL. Last season, he split time with Modo Hockey between the Junior 20 League and the Hockey Allsvenskan, where he recorded a dominating 6 points in 4 games played at the Junior 20 level and 6 points in 43 games played in the Allsvenskan. Wallander is a very, very raw prospect. You can see in the minor levels he is a dominating prospect because he has so much talent, but he doesn't produce as well in the pros because he doesn't know how to use it to his advantage, playing against men who are much more experienced than him. However, something to be happy about is that Wallander will be joining the Rögle BK organization, and if they can develop him like they did another prospect on this list, we should have nothing to worry about. He is still at least a couple seasons out before attempting to make the show, but he has top 4 potential. For a more deep dive on this player, you can check out the video we made on Wallander. So to round out our prospects outside of the top 10, at number 11, we have a 2019 draft selection from the 6th round. He is another Swedish-born prospect and grew up playing through the ranks in the Frölunda organization. We are, of course, talking about Emile Soderblom. Last season, he split time between the Junior 20 leagues and the SHL, earning 4 points in 4 games played in the Junior 20 league and 5 points in 28 games played in the SHL, averaging less than 10 minutes a game. One of the great things that will immediately stick out to anyone watching Soderblom is his size. He is a giant. Standing at 6 feet 8 inches, 238 pounds, when he lays the body, it is a bone crusher. Unfortunately, he doesn't use it to his advantage too often, but that's more of a Swedish thing to be less aggressive, and that likely will change when he starts playing in the North American leagues. What should excite fans is his abilities in the net front. Something we covered in our Soderblom video, he is a terrific net front presence, especially with his size. He can get his stick in the right position to tip it in or to screen the goalie's vision. And with his size, there's not much a goalie or a defenseman can do. He also has some nasty skills that he showed off at the World Junior 20 Championships, scoring 2 goals, and well, check them out for yourself.
And then feeds Soderblom, where Soderblom gets the puck on the move and then pulls it in front between the legs, up and over the shoulder off the...
Kroppshydda på 108 kilo, lägger nu pucken och så drar han mellan benen. Ja, det är
underbart. Det här är junior-VM på högsta nivå.
Soderblom should be heading overseas, possibly at the end of the SHL season or the start of the 2022-23 season. Welcome to the top 10. To start it off, we have another prospect from the 2021 NHL Entry draft, drafted in the second round from the USHL, Shai Buam. So as one of the newest additions to the Red Wings organization, most don't know too much about him. He stands at 6 foot 3 inches, 214 pounds, is actually from San Diego, California. I know, the first one off this list so far who isn't European. He played for the Musketeers in the USHL last season, earning 26 points in 50 games played, and also earned 13 points in 17 games played at a prep school. His point totals with the Musketeers were good enough for 5th on the team in points and 2nd in points for defensemen on the team. Not bad for a rookie season. Overall, his game is pretty complete, just getting faster and making his shot more deadly, while also doing everything he can do consistently. He likely will head to Grand Rapids as soon as his junior eligibility is up. Once he learns to control the game and dominate enough, he will start to earn time with the Red Wings. So for number 9, we head back over to Sweden to revisit another second round selection from the 2020 NHL Entry draft. From the Frölunda organization, Theodor Niederbach. Niederbach stands at 5'11", weighing at 172 pounds. I feel like he definitely stands in the shadow of Lucas Raymond, whether in the draft or his pro team. Niederbach plays in the SHL with Lucas Raymond, where he had 5 points in 20 games played. He also played with his peers in the Junior 20 League for Frölunda, where he had 35 points in 19 games played. Remember, he is only 19. Niederbach has plenty of time to develop his skill set, and honestly has shown some pretty good skill in the one season since being drafted. He should look to have a bigger role in Frölunda and on the national team this year. Heading into number 8, we have another Finnish defenseman. He is liked around the organization and by fans. He signed his entry-level contract at the end of the season. We are talking about Emile Vero. Standing at 6 feet, 165 pounds, he played in Finland's top league with TPS last season, earning 14 points in 53 games played, and added 4 points in 13 games played in the playoffs, taking TPS to the finals where they unfortunately lost. Vero has impressive skating and can control the ice with his high hockey IQ, which for a defenseman, those are characteristics you definitely want. He is still a very raw talent and was loaned back to TPS and will likely start his 2021-22 campaign over there. So we go to number 7. We are talking about the second round selection and looks like a steal so far, Albert Johansen. Johansen is not a super big kid, standing at 6 feet, 168 pounds, especially compared to some of the other defensemen Yzerman has drafted, and really his offensive ability has set himself apart from other prospects. He is very shifty and agile, can lead the offense and cut through opponents' defenses pretty easily to set up a good play. His shot may need some work, but aside from that, it's just about refining the skills he already has. Last season, he put up 19 points in 44 games played in the SHL with Vargistad BK. We also made a more in-depth video on Johansen you can check out. We most likely will see him in Grand Rapids next season at some point. So on to number 6. In my opinion, all the prospects from here until 1 are the big dogs. They were either drafted recently and have a ton of potential, or have shown they are soon to be in the NHL tearing it up. So at number 6, we have a first round selection. He's likely the farthest out from making the Red Wings roster of the remaining prospects, and we are talking about Sebastian Kosa. Kosa stands tall at 6 feet, 6 inches, and 212 pounds. He is a big goalie that isn't going to give you much room. Last season, Kosa put up an impressive .941 save percentage and a 1.57 goals against average, in 19 games played in the WHL, which that performance was good enough to place him third in all-time season performances in the WHL, before even being drafted. We made a more in-depth video about him that you can check out as well. Real quick, he has an impressive vision on the ice. He owns a high hockey IQ that helps him be in the right place when plays are being run on him, and uses his athleticism to make controlled movements and allow him to be in the right spot to limit holes for the opponents to shoot through. He honestly has the abilities to play in the AHL next season, but he will have to finish up his junior eligibility before he can do that. If he performs well, he could possibly be signed and join Grand Rapids when his junior season ends. So on to number 5. We have a player who dominated the SHL last season and signed his NHL entry-level contract at the end of the season. He actually was a pick from the Holland era. We are talking about Jonathan Berggren. He stands at 5 feet 11 inches, 183 pounds, so not super big, but big enough. He is a Swedish-born player and very much plays like a Swedish player. Berggren put up 45 points in 49 games played, playing good enough to tie for first on the team in points and for a tie at 6th in points in the whole league. Really though, if you look at the rest of the players, Berggren has less games played and or averaging less time on ice than majority of the players ahead of him or even tied with him. Berggren will be heading over to North America this season, most likely to suit up for Grand Rapids, then soon play for the Detroit Red Wings. And welcome to number 4. We have the top prospect from the 2021 NHL Entry Draft, selected at 6th overall, Simon Edmondson. Edmondson is a big defenseman standing at 6 feet 5 inches, weighing in at 207 pounds. He is a Swedish-born player growing up in the Frölunda organization. He played in 3 leagues this season: the Junior 20 League, the SHL, and the Hockey Allsvenskan, where he recorded 5 assists amongst 16 points in 14 games played, 1 assist in 10 SHL games played, and 5 assists in 14 games played in the Allsvenskan. These numbers don't necessarily jump out. Edmondson is a very raw prospect, much like Wallander and Seider for a little bit. But the skills he has is not teachable, especially at his size. He skates and moves the puck like a 6-foot tall player that is 30 pounds lighter, and I don't mean his quickness necessarily, but much more about his agility. He also can play defensively and very much use his size to his advantage, whether it's gap control, breaking up plays, or keeping the puck away from forecheckers. The only thing Edmondson needs to improve on is his decision making and confidence. Thankfully, those are more teachable things. It's likely that Cronwell will be helping him refine his game like he did with Seider and I'm sure some of the other prospects. But imagining a top line of Seider and Edmondson is just a match made in heaven. Alright, to number 3. We have the only player on this list to play sort of NHL time. He's from the same draft as Jonathan Berggren. We are talking about Joe Veleno. Veleno is a center, arguably the best that isn't named Dylan Larkin. Don't get me wrong, Rasmussen is my favorite player in center, but Veleno has probably the best upside when he does pan out. He stands at 6 feet and 1 inch, 194 pounds. He is Canadian born and actually one of the players in the CHL's history to receive exceptional status to play in the junior leagues earlier, given to players who have shown they are far and above the rest of their peers at the time. The last couple of seasons, he has played all over, playing for the Grand Rapids Griffins, Malmo Redhawks in the SHL, and the Detroit Red Wings, and for Canada in the World Junior 20 Championships as an assistant captain, leading their way to a gold medal. Over his time with Grand Rapids, he has recorded a total of 26 points in 56 games played, which is alright. His abilities did look a lot better this season than during his rookie season. Over in the SHL, Veleno put up 20 points in 46 games played, which doesn't sound like a lot, but the Redhawks were one of the worst teams in the SHL last season and was good enough for 4th on the team in points, and also scored his first NHL goal this season, gaining valuable NHL experience during his 5 games played. Next season he may start in Grand Rapids, but this season is definitely about solidifying his spot in the lineup and proving to the Red Wings he's ready to be in the NHL full time. Alright, we got 2 left. I can't imagine anyone is guessing as to who they are, only who is first and who is second. So at number 2, we have a player who played in the SHL this year. He was drafted in the 2020 NHL Draft, becoming the highest Red Wings selection of the draft in the last couple decades, the Swedish winger, Lucas Raymond. Raymond is a small player standing at 5 feet 10 inches, 183 pounds, but don't be mistaken. Raymond works extremely hard, plays the body, and competes. He's actually kind of impressive for such a small stature. He's like a small wrecking ball. Raymond is by far the most talented winger in the Red Wings organization. He is oh so dynamic. He put up 18 points in 34 games played last season, which was good enough to tie for 4th in U20 scoring in the SHL, but aside from Seider and Eklund, none of the players really got a whole lot more than Raymond, especially considering most had 6 or more games played than Raymond. He signed his entry-level contract after the SHL season wrapped up and should make his North American debut next season. Most likely with the Grand Rapids Griffins, but you never know, possibly with the Detroit Red Wings. He definitely has the skills to do it, just what they think is better for his development. So that leaves us with only one spot remaining. And I'm sure everyone knows who he is. It should come as no surprise. Number 1 is the big German wrecking ball, Moritz Seider. The first pick of the Yzerman era, considered a reach at 6th overall. Seider has made an impressive name for himself, standing at 6 feet 4 inches, 207 pounds according to Elite Prospects. He dominated his season in the SHL, recording 28 points in 41 games played, good enough for 5th on the team in points, pretty good for a rookie defenseman, and leading all U20 players in scoring. He also received the SHL Top Defenseman of the Year, Elite Prospects Top Junior Player of the Year, and at the World Championships, where he recorded 5 points in 10 games played, he was recognized as the top defenseman at the World Championship Tournament. And if that isn't good enough to get you excited to see him don the winged wheel, remember that Seider is considered a two-way defenseman. So for all the stuff he can do on the offense, he is arguably even better on defense. So yeah, we can sleep soundly knowing our net is soon to be protected by an early candidate for next year's Calder Trophy. Keep in mind, we made a video for Raymond and Seider after the World Championships wrapped up that you can check out on the channel. Let us know down below what you think of our list. Comment your list of the top 10 or top 15 Red Wings prospects. Red Wing Nation was built to be a community of Red Wings fans that can come together and talk about all things Red Wings. So please comment down below. We want to hear all your thoughts and opinions. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. That way we make more content that you like. And lastly, don't be afraid to subscribe. That way you get notified when you upload a video. And until next time, lights out in the red light district.